You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I am super excited that you've tuned in today. You know, there was a time when my life was a whirlwind of tasks and deadlines, usually other people's deadlines. A time when I woke up to a flurry of emails and messages every single morning, spent my days juggling calls and meetings, working on marketing plans, content creation, etc. And when I hit the pillow at night, my brain was still buzzing with a never-ending to-do list. It felt like I was living in my office rather than my home. Can you relate? Well, if this resonates with you, then today's episode is exactly what you need. We're going to dive deep into work-life balance, exploring its problems, and more importantly, uncovering practical solutions and even some innovative ideas to help you. So if you've ever felt like you're always on, struggling to separate work and personal time, or feeling guilty for not working enough, remember you're not alone. So grab your favorite beverage and get comfortable because we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of achieving a healthier, happier, and more balanced life as solopreneurs. And don't worry about writing everything down. You'll find links to everything I talk about in the show notes at tanyakendrick.com/7. So before we dive into the solutions, let's take a moment to define the problem. What does work-life balance even mean for us as solopreneurs? And why is it such a challenge to achieve? If you're anything like me, it's likely that you've experienced that nagging feeling of always being on. Even when the laptop is closed and the office door is shut, your mind keeps running, thinking about the next project, the next call, the next launch. And then there's the struggle to separate work and personal time. When you're the boss, the lines between work hours and personal hours can easily blur. It can be hard to switch off and fully enjoy your personal time when you know there's that pile of work waiting for you. You might find yourself checking emails during dinner or brainstorming business ideas when you should be unwinding with a good book or spending quality time with your loved ones. And then there's the guilt. If you're not working, you might feel guilty for not being productive enough. But if you're always working, you might feel guilty for neglecting other areas of your life. It's like being stuck in a never-ending cycle of guilt and stress. So if you're in this cycle, just know that many of us face these challenges, either daily or intermittently. But the good news is recognizing these problems is the first step toward finding solutions. The effects of these issues aren't just confined to our personal lives, they also impact our business performance. Poor work-life balance can lead to burnout, decreased productivity, and can even affect your mental health. You might find yourself unable to concentrate, making more mistakes, and feeling less motivated. In the long run, this can harm our businesses, which rely on our energy, creativity, and commitment. And that's why working toward healthy work-life balance isn't just about personal well-being, it's also about professional success. According to Mental Health America, which is a nonprofit dedicated to the promotion of mental health, when workers are balanced and happy, they are more productive, take fewer sick days, and are more likely to stay in their jobs. I'll drop a link to that article in the show notes. Now, as solopreneurs, we don't have the option to leave our job, but the point is still valid. Better work-life balance leads to better outcomes, both personally and professionally. So, are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you finding it hard to juggle your business and personal life? If you answered yes, then take a deep breath. There are ways to improve your situation, which we'll get to in just a bit. But first, I want you to pause for a moment. Reflect on your own experiences. How are these issues showing up in your life? What impact are they having on your business and your personal relationships? Jot down your thoughts if you can, because understanding the problem will help you solve it. So, now let's talk about some common mistakes that people make when trying to achieve work life balance. Number one, setting unrealistic expectations. Sometimes we envision that Instagram perfect life where we seamlessly juggle our businesses, non work activities, and relationships without feeling overwhelmed or stressed. But of course, that isn't realistic. And that leads into one of the biggest mistakes I've made and that I see many other solopreneurs making: setting unrealistic expectations. People often envision work life balance as a perfect 50-50 split between work and personal time. They set goals like working exactly 8 hours a day, spending quality time with their family every evening, and dedicating weekends solely to fun activities. However, the reality of running a business rarely aligns with this picture perfect scenario. Some days you might need to work late into the evening to complete a project. Other times, your personal activities might spill over into your work hours. Expecting a perfect balance every day or even every week sets you up for disappointment and stress. You have to understand that work life balance isn't a rigid construct, it's a flexible one. It's about finding a balance that works for you, not fitting into a predetermined mold. Another common mistake is not setting boundaries. As solopreneurs, our office can be anywhere: the living room, the local coffee shop, or even the bedroom. This flexibility is definitely a blessing. I love being able to work outside by the pool, for example. But it can also be a curse. It allows us to work anytime, anywhere, but it also blurs the lines between our professional and personal lives. I said that I love being able to work outside by the pool, but I don't want to always do that. Some of that outside time needs to be for rest and relaxation, right? And a way to make that happen is to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is essential for maintaining a healthy work life balance. That could mean designating specific work hours, taking regular lunch breaks, or creating a dedicated workspace in your home. By setting boundaries, you can keep work from consuming your entire life. Another common mistake, especially for women, is neglecting ourselves and our health. We skip meals, sacrifice sleep, and ignore signs of stress and burnout. We convince ourselves that we'll take care of our health when we have the time. But the truth is, self care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Neglecting self care not only harms our mental and physical health, but also affects our productivity and creativity. So, if you're considering skipping your exercise routine to wrap up a project or planning to work through the night to meet a deadline, remember this. People often say that our most precious resource is time, but really it's our health. So, make time for regular physical activity, eat nutritious meals, get enough sleep, and include other self care activities in your routine. And you may have to skip out on some of that self care from time to time, but don't make it a habit. Make it be the exception. Okay, so this is something I see all the time, especially from productivity gurus. They'll send out an email or write a blog post or record a video saying that there's no such thing as work life balance. And people buy into that. They imagine that work life balance is a destination, a place they'll reach once they have it all figured out, once they know how to perfectly juggle their work and personal lives. And then they get that email that says there's no such thing and they give up. But the reality is that work life balance is not one and done. It's a journey, not a destination. Priorities and responsibilities shift over time. You'll have periods of intense work, followed by periods of relaxation and leisure. And you'll have periods where personal demands take priority and work takes the back seat. The key is to stay flexible and adapt your schedule to accommodate these different periods. Harvard Business Review actually did a study where they identified a cycle that high achievers go through as their priorities evolve. And I'll drop a link to that study in the show notes. The bottom line here is that work life balance is not a static state, it's a dynamic process. It's about making conscious choices every day to prioritize your health, happiness, and well being alongside your business goals. So, we've talked about common mistakes. Now, let's look at some practical solutions for better work life balance. These tips can help you regain control over your professional life and carve out time for self care, which, as we've said, can ultimately lead to a healthier, happier lifestyle. Step one, prioritize and delegate tasks. As a business owner, it's easy to feel like every task is a priority, but let's be honest, not everything needs your immediate attention. Start by making a list of your daily tasks and rank them based on their importance and urgency. This approach, known as the Eisenhower Matrix, can help you identify what tasks you need to focus on and which ones can be delegated or scheduled for later. I do a deep dive on prioritization in episode 6 of the podcast. I'll drop a link to that episode in the show notes. And delegation is something that many people struggle with, especially those of us who are perfectionists or recovering perfectionists. We're used to doing everything ourselves, our own way. But delegation doesn't have to mean losing control. Think of it as a way to maximize productivity. So consider outsourcing tasks that are time-consuming but don't directly contribute to your bottom line. These could be things like administrative tasks, social media management, or even household tasks like cleaning or yard work. Anything you can delegate will free up time, and as long as you don't pile on more work, that should help you improve your work-life balance. Step 2, set boundaries and stick to them. So, we talked already about how not setting boundaries is a problem, which means that setting boundaries is definitely a solution, especially if you commit to sticking to them. Set specific office hours, then communicate them to your clients, colleagues, and family to manage expectations. Don't forget to take lunch breaks and other regular breaks throughout the day, too. Stepping away from work for a while can boost your productivity and creativity. And resist the urge to check emails or pop into social media during this time. Instead, use your break to relax, eat something healthy, or go for a quick walk. Or if you work from home like I do, then use the break from work to catch up on some of your household chores. I like being able to use that time to throw a load of laundry in the washer or straighten up a room, things that would have been impossible in my corporate days. And that frees up my evenings and weekends to focus on fun activities as opposed to household work. Step 3, incorporate self-care into your routine. Incorporating self-care into your routine is a must for your physical and mental health. Make sure to allocate time for activities you enjoy, whether it's reading a book, practicing yoga, or going for a pedicure. And make sure you get enough sleep. Shoot for at least 7 to 9 hours per night. Lack of sleep can take a real toll on your productivity, mood, and overall health. If you struggle to switch off at bedtime, then consider implementing a pre-sleep routine. This could include activities like meditating, reading, or taking a warm bath. Step 4, learn to say no. Saying no can be difficult, especially when you're worried about missing opportunities. However, saying yes to everything can leave you feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Remember, it's okay to turn down projects or commitments that don't align with your goals or values, or when you simply don't have the capacity. Saying no is one of the key aspects of avoiding overwhelm, which I talk about in more detail in episode 3, Overwhelm in Business, Strategies to Combat Stress and Bring Back Joy. And I'll drop a link to that episode in the show notes as well. Step 5, use time management tools and techniques. If you've been around me for a while, you won't be surprised that I include time management as an important step to maintaining healthy balance. Tools like Asana, Trello, or Google Calendar can help you stay organized, track details, and avoid procrastination. You can also try techniques like time blocking or the Pomodoro technique to help you maintain focus and productivity without burning out. I talk more about time management tools and techniques in episode 6. Just remember that achieving perfect work life balance isn't the goal here. We're going for better, not perfect. If you try different things and make adjustments as needed, you'll be able to create a routine that helps you manage your workload more effectively, reduces work related stress, and allows you more time to enjoy life outside of work. So, we've talked about 5 practical solutions that you can implement. Now, let's step outside the box and look at some innovative ideas for work life balance. Embrace flexible work schedules. Rigid 9 to 5 schedules don't always align with the realities of running an online business. And even better, they don't have to. Being your own boss gives you the flexibility to design a work schedule tailored to your lifestyle. Maybe you're more productive in the early morning or late at night. Or maybe you find it easier to work in short bursts rather than long stretches. Customize your work hours to fit your life rather than the other way around. Implement a digital detox. In today's world, we're constantly connected, which makes it hard to truly switch off from work. Make it a habit to disconnect from all work-related digital devices outside of your designated work hours. And if that sounds like too much, then at least disconnect for a little while every couple of days. This can help you unwind, reduce stress, and improve your sleep quality. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present and fully engaged in whatever you're doing. Whether you're working on a project, spending time with family, or taking a break, be fully there. This approach can help reduce feelings of being overwhelmed and promote a healthier lifestyle. Check out a co-working space. I think this idea can be especially helpful if you don't have a dedicated workspace in your home. A co-working space gives you all the amenities of a traditional office. Think high-speed internet, conference rooms, and private desks without the rigid schedule, formal dress code, and a boss. From a work-life balance perspective, it can help you maintain a healthy boundary between your work and personal life. Once you step out of the co-working space, you can leave your work behind. Another idea is to try out virtual co-working spaces. Just because you're a solo business owner doesn't mean you have to work alone. Virtual co-working spaces can provide a sense of community, motivate you, and help structure your day. It's like being in an office with other professionals, except it's all online. These platforms can offer the perfect blend of flexibility, interaction, and productivity. Take nature breaks. Take a moment to step outside and get some fresh air. This might be a brisk walk in the park, a quick gardening session, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee on your patio. Connecting with nature can significantly reduce stress and improve your mood. Another idea is personal development hours. Dedicate a couple of hours each week to personal development. Use this time to learn something new, whether that's by attending webinars, reading books, or taking a class. Not only does this contribute to your growth as an entrepreneur, but it also provides a refreshing break from your regular work routine. And finally, take a workation. This is sort of the opposite of a staycation. The idea here is that you take a few days to go to a different location, but you continue to work. Maybe you go to the beach or visit a new city. The change of scenery can spark creativity and make work more enjoyable. As I said earlier, managing work-life balance isn't about having an equal division of work and personal time. It's about creating a lifestyle that blends your work commitments and personal needs in a way that makes you happy. Now let's pull it all together and create a work-life balance action plan. This is where you take the ideas discussed in this episode and make them actionable. Start by writing down your ideal work-life balance goals. This will give you something to strive for, even on days when the going gets tough. Then, identify the specific steps to get there. What kinds of changes do you need to make in terms of attitude, lifestyle habits, and scheduling? Finally, create an action plan with deadlines for each step. This will keep you from getting overwhelmed because it breaks down your goals into smaller chunks that are easier to manage. Remember, even if this plan doesn't work out the way you envision, that's okay. Work-life balance is an ongoing process, and you can always make adjustments as needed. Healthy work-life balance isn't just about what you do, but also how you do it. Find ways to be more efficient with your time, delegate tasks when possible, take regular breaks, and stay organized. This will help you maximize your productivity without sacrificing your well-being. The bottom line here is that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to work-life balance. But if you experiment, stay flexible, and make tweaks as needed, then you can create a routine that works for you. And if you're looking for resources to help you, I have a work-life balance toolkit that may be just what you need. It includes helpful guides, checklists, and templates to help you create more balance between your work life and personal life. I'll drop a link to that toolkit in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. Head on over to tanyakendrick.com/7 to view the show notes. You'll find links to all the resources mentioned. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you'd take a moment to leave a rating and review. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe so that you can listen as soon as the next episode is released. Have a great day. And before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit tanyakendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.